I recently read in the news that comedy legend Ronnie Corbett passed away. It's interesting how we use that word legend in popular culture. Anybody who's been a significant player in their field can be described as a legend when they pass away. So we have a football legend, or a rock legend, or a comedy legend. And yet when that word is used of the Bible, it's usually used in quite a dismissive way. People will describe the Bible as a book of myth and legend, and they'll dismiss the characters of the Bible as matters of legend, something like a King Arthur of the ancient world. And yet what we do find in the relatively new discipline of archaeology, which has only really been about 150 years of activity, we find discovery after discovery that's confirmed that the biblical record we read is not the stuff of legend and myth, but is rooted in real history, real time and real place. I've been interested in archaeology for many years, and now with my teaching theology, I'm even more interested to see how they harmonise. I love something like this, which is a 3,000-year-old bronze arrowhead, because I feel I can hold in my hand something tangible that speaks of the ancient world. Still got a bit of a sharp blade to it, and it makes me wonder, what is the story behind this arrowhead? What happened when this was fired? No doubt some tragic story could be told. And yet the Bible is something of an artefact too. It tells us about events and people in the ancient world, and now using archaeology we can see how compatible the history we read is with what we find from the ancient world. And far from dismissing it as a matter of fictitious legend and myth, we find that many of the characters and locations and places that we read about can be confirmed from the archaeological record. Back in 2014, the Biblical Archaeological Review published an article that described 50 characters in the Bible now being confirmed by what we know from the material remains of history. Characters like King Mesha, Hezekiah, Jehu, the dynasty of David, Pilate. There are those, of course, who would continue to say, well, not enough evidence. What about these other characters for whom we don't have direct archaeological evidence? Well, it's important to remember that an absence of evidence is not an evidence of absence. Maybe we still need to wait and see what will yet emerge. But what we can say and what we do know is that the Bible we read remains rooted in real history. And there's nothing from the archaeological record to undermine that claim. In fact, what we do find is a confirmation and an encouragement that when we're reading this book, it's not just a collection of beautiful stories. It actually tells us about a real God and his real dealings in real history.